Brock Purdy was more cautious than ever in Cleveland, but when he needed to step up and make a play, he did. We'll dive into that film in a minute. Plus, how did the 49ers defense bow up in big spots in Cleveland? We'll break it all down on today's Gold Standard podcast. What is good, everybody? Welcome to another Gold Standard production. This is the Demonetization Station, where we dive into the film from the week and the NFL takes all of our money. I'm Rob Stats Guerrera. That is Johnny Dell from the Johnny Dell Football Academy. How are you, Johnny? Did you have a good Thanksgiving?
Had a fantastic Thanksgiving. It was great. We got to spend some time going over some film last week, looked at the Brock Purdy interceptions. Wasn't the best day there, but it's always a good time. I love making a turkey. I don't do it very often, but I have nailed the turkey, and I'm proud of that one, but always love it. And the turkey sandwiches afterwards.
Oh, turkey sandwich day after is the best. It is outstanding. It's my favorite Thanksgiving tradition. Diego says I'm on a bye week too, so I can finally watch one of these lives. Thank you, Diego. Appreciate all your support. I saw your Spotify Wrapped as well. Thank everybody for sending those, by the way. That is really cool to see us up there. To see that you give any of your time to us is really rewarding. So thank you, everybody, for that. All right, Johnny, let's get into it because we were going through it last week. Brock Purdy's throwing 3 interceptions. We're like, oh my God, what's going on here? And I was nervous. I was definitely nervous going into that Cleveland game, but we are going to break down the film. If you could bring up the window, I'll pop it in here and we'll dive into Brock because he didn't, do anything crazy, but there were some third down situations, specifically some longer down and distance situations where he needed to make a play, and he did.
100%. And I think we also need to put this Browns defense in kind of context. The Browns defense, as far as points per game, has not been great as a team, but a lot of that has been hampered by some absolutely atrocious quarterback play. Cleveland was either 31st or 32nd in nearly every passing metric, just to put that in perspective for everybody, that in many cases they were 32nd and by a wide margin. So their defense has dealt with the offense turning the ball over and allowing points on offense. To put this Browns defense in perspective, everybody remembers back to the 2011 49ers defense. That was a phenomenal defense, right? And we didn't have a great offense. I think we led the league in 3 and outs that year. And that defense, and that was what made particularly that 2011 defense so special, is that they were so good even with such a bad offense or a non-productive offense. That 2011 49ers defense allowed 308 yards per game. This Browns defense is allowing 271 yards per game.
Wow.
They are allowing 37 fewer yards per game than the 49ers 2011 defense, and they have the worst passing offense in the league. If you look at the amount of first downs allowed, that 2011 49ers defense, 16.7 first downs allowed per game. This Browns defense, 16.3. So when we look at this Browns defense in perspective, think about the 2011 49ers defense, and that is very much what this Browns defense is like. So that has to be put in the context of Brock Purdy's performance. It wasn't a great statistical day, but that is a huge reason to that. We weren't able to run the ball well, but he made some really important plays. And this specifically, I'm going to kick it off here right at the beginning of the 2-minute drill. This is 37 seconds left in the game, or in the half, when they get the ball, and this is where we really start to see Brock Purdy executing at an extremely high level. So what the Browns are really good at is man coverage. So you're going to see him here in man. They got the safety down on Christian McCaffrey. They like that matchup for him better than Schlesinger. So Schlesinger is a very good linebacker. He's probably going to get defensive rookie of the year. He was a kid. I looked at a lot of his tape coming out of college. I actually put on the UCLA tape to watch a different guy, Femi Oladejo, who I was really interested in coming out of the Senior Bowl. And when I put on the Bruins tape Schlesinger just really jumps off the film. I didn't have him necessarily to the 49ers because it's a classic Mike. And I'm like, well, we got Fred Warner. We don't need a second on a Mike. And he was clearly, to me, the best Mike linebacker in this class. And my notes on him were Luke Kuechly with a little less speed. So that's why he's where he's at. So he's going to end up dropping into a middle hook zone as a lurk. And they got man coverage on everybody else. The Browns don't need to bring more than 4 very often because they got that stud out here, Myles Garrett, who's having an absolutely ridiculous year. So what we're going to do is, okay, they're really good at man coverage, so we're going to run a bunch of return routes. So we're going to have Kittle make this look like he's running a short out route or a tree route, and then he's going to break back inside. And we're going to have Demarcus Robinson look like he's running flat, and he's going to break back inside. And we're going to have Ricky Pearsall look like he's running this is called a drift route, and he's going to run what's called a drift away. So he's going to break in for 3 steps, then he's going to break back outside. So you have all this making it look like it's going one way and breaking back outside. And so for Brock, he's looking at, we're going to generate a little bit of leverage here with the late motion. And he's reading out this corner. He's saying, okay, is this guy, I want to see him take 1 step inside, and that's going to trigger that I'm going here. If I don't go here, then I'm going to work to 2 and to 3, and we're going to work across the field if we can't get there. This is 3rd and long on with 33 seconds left in the half. What he's going to read is boom. He sees 1 step inside, so he knows he's just got to wait for Ricky to recover, and he's going to make this throw. And great base. He steps into it, is throwing the ball in here. I mean, Ricky's not exactly wide open. The guy's right in his hip pocket. He's got to put this ball, a fastball, on his outside shoulder, and it's a dime of a throw.
Huge throw. And Kyle said that was the throw that made him realize, like, okay, we could try and score before the end of the first half, because 1, they converted, obviously, but also just the way Brock was throwing the ball and the fact that he could see that the wind was not affecting it too much. So he completes that pass, and it's like, all right, not only do we have a first down, but we can go and try and score, which is big because they were losing 8-7 at this point.
Right. And it was the first time that they had trailed in the last 3 games. And so here's a great windage marker. You can see on the goalposts how much the wind is blowing. You're going to see some gusts in here. I think it flutters a little bit, especially the left one. I mean, this wind is coming straight back into where Brock's going to throw. So he's got to drive this into the wind. One thing, we show this every single week. Where's Brock's head stripe? It's right down the middle of the field. And so you're going to see this safety. He's going to attack Juwan Jennings' route because, again, he's going to watch Brock's eyes, and he's going to go there. Now, Schlesinger can see Brock's shoulder, so he sees he's setting up for a throw, so that's where he takes off. Great pocket, by the way. This is a great job by the O-line. Trent Williams, good on good over here, handling Myles Garrett. Love to see that from Big Trent. And this ball is put in a dime of a spot. I mean, that is 1 foot in front of the numbers. That's where Bill Walsh always wanted it. Right there on it, into the wind, far hash, out route throw. Let's go.
That really kind of jump-started the drive, too. Like, they hit that pass, and then he hits the next play. This is the one to Juwan, I assume. And then
this is the one. No, this is the one to Kittle. So,
okay.
Yeah,
between this that he got right after that Pearsall play, and then this play to Kittle.
Yeah, and this one to Kittle is I love this. So, this is a concept we hit. It's like every preseason we've hit this a number of times. And again, it's how Kyle Shanahan is able to dress these plays up. It's not from the same personnel. It's not always from the same presentation. So normally we have a receiver sitting out here, and we're going to run this from more of a spread look. And what they do is that this is called Spartan. So you're going to run a little curl on the outside, and then George is going to be on a Spartan route. So he's going to kind of settle in here for a second, and then he's going to run a slot fade. And, you know, we've run this with Jordan Watkins in the slot. We've run this with Brandon Ayuk in the slot. We've run this with Juwan Jennings in the slot. We've run this with about every single player we have in that slot. So that's what makes this so hard. And now you bring it from a presentation of your receivers in, and then you're going to motion Ricky out. And we're going to get a coverage tell on that when you see this guy travel. So Brock's going to see this pre-snap and go, okay, that's where I want to go with the ball. You can see he's going to watch these guys and just verify man coverage, sees it. There's the swap. They're going out, staying in. So we're making sure we're on our guys. So that's where Brock knows he wants to go with the ball. So first thing he's going to do, he's going to look off this safety. He's going to give him a little bit of eyes. You're going to see this guy just shade just a hair to the 3 receiver side because he wants to open this up for the slot fade, give George a little bit more room out here. So he drops back. You're going to see this safety just shade a little bit. It's all you need. Sometimes is one step. And so he's going to hold him with his eyes. Then he's going to take this throw, and he's going to lead him away from this safety. So this ball is actually caught down at the 9. We have to realize where this ball is going to be caught. And if Brock, because I saw some people, if he let him down more the middle, this would have been a touchdown. If he does that, this safety probably goes and picks it. You'll see where the safety gets to at the catch point, which is he gets right about to the numbers. So he holds him just a little bit, drops the ball. I mean, this is an early throw. He launches it. Kittle's here. This ball is going to be caught down here. So launches this out there, leads him away from the safety. So Kittle was expecting it over his inside shoulder. But again, if we look at where this safety's at the catch point, Kittle's got to adjust to it. Okay, if he leads him down his inside shoulder, this guy's right there for the hit up. So he leads him away from the safety. Great catch by Kittle. I mean, the coverage is there. That's tough because he's got a safety, kind of recovering on him to make the one-handed catch. Great job.
And the fact, I feel like people take that for granted too. Kittle looks over his right shoulder. Then he has to turn his head. So look away from the ball, look over his left shoulder, pick the ball up again as he's running down the field. As a defender has one of his arms pinned to his body. It's pass interference that they don't call, and he still catches it. George doesn't get enough credit for that play either.
Yeah, I mean, just an absolutely phenomenal catch, especially from a tight end. Again, look at Trent Williams. Yeah, he got some late help, but he was holding down Myles Garrett. Let's go. Great ball placement. I mean, that is perfect ball placement to get out there, throwing into the wind with the safety closing. Let's go. Should have been. George was calling for timeout, and they didn't give it to him.
Yeah, that cost an extra 4 seconds.
It should have, and it should have had another opportunity to go get a score.
Yeah. And Matt Gay doinked it in off the post. Can you imagine if he had missed that field goal after that incredible play?
We would have been having shades of Jake Moody missing in Cleveland 2 years ago.
Ouch, my hamstring. Thanks for the super chat. Says, does Prize Picks have an over-under on how many downs Cowing will play before he follows Ayuk out the door? Dude's ligaments are made up of 10-year-old rubber bands from a junk drawer. I don't know about Prize Picks because we don't have anything to do with Prize Picks on this show. Ouch. But there was a Jacob Cowing update from Matt Barrows, who in his mailbag basically said he's healthy. They just don't have a spot for him, so they're keeping him where he is right now is essentially what it is. So I don't think it's that he's injured anymore. It's that they don't right now have a spot for him. We'll see, who gets hurt and how things end up shaking out. But Barrows literally just mentioned that, I think, yesterday.
Yeah, it was yesterday in his athletic update. What he had an interesting note about it. He said, with the injuries that they've had this year, what they don't want to do is release somebody like Kendrick Bourne, have him get picked up by another team to make a spot for Jacob Cowing, and then Cowing gets hurt again, or Jordan Watkins gets hurt again, or Demarcus Robinson gets hurt, or there's some sort of injury, and then they don't have that receiver. So what they're really doing here is kind of using the IR that they don't need to rush him back for any reason to stash him out on the roster, almost like a practice squad guy that can't get picked up by another team, that they're just holding on to him in case of injury at this point.
Benali has this comment. Nate Tice and Matt Harmon were talking about Purdy almost only throwing to the outside this game because they think he's just not healthy enough to hit the bread and butter anticipation throws over the middle. I didn't see that, so I don't want to really respond without having seen it. But to me, I thought Brock was throwing the ball better in this game than he did against Carolina in worse conditions.
Yeah, I don't know what they're looking at to see that. It wasn't like I was seeing all these open throws. Cleveland is very good at man coverage, and they played a lot of cover one man, meaning they had two help defenders on the inside. So yeah, you're going to see some more throws on the outside when that happens. You're trying to get them into a too high defense is what we were trying to do, and you attack them where you can. So this is an example of why he's turning down some of those inside throws. This is a play. It's a first down. This is only a 4-yard gain. To me, this maybe have been the most impressive play of the day for Brock. It seems so simple, but there's a lot that goes into this. So some people I've had different people question me, how do you know that this is what they're actually running? Well, you look at the playbook and there's things. This is what's called X Chevy over Y flag. So if we want to know the actual name of this play, it's X Chevy over Y flag. So X Chevy over is we're going to bring a little in-out motion here as a coverage check with Ricky Pearsall. He's going to run basically a choice out or quick to the flat. And you're going to run Juwan Jennings on a Chevy route. It's a 6-step in route or post route. So he's going to take 6 steps and then sell it like a go route down the outside and run a post. So this works 1 to 2, and then the over is Christian McCaffrey sitting over the center. He's going to come over the middle of the field. So you have 1 to 2 to 3 on your progression here. Then we have Y flag, and Y flag is going to be George Kittle on a corner route, and then Kyle Juszczyk on a drag China is what this is called. So it's going to stem outside almost to the flat, and it's going to break back inside. And so this gives us 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5. If we're going right to left on the field. This is where you look at if you have a single safety presentation. This is where you're going to look at if you have a 2 safety presentation, as far as which side do you start on. If it's 2 safety, you're going to start over here. It's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it'll work the opposite way. But this is how the progressions work. And what we're going to see from Brock is this is real high level to work through these progressions as quickly as he does. So he's going to take the snap. He's going to look out here to the Chevy, and he sees, okay, this guy's inside leverage. I don't like that. This guy's outside leverage. I don't like that. So he's going to turn down the Chevy. He goes 1 to 2. Okay, now he's going to look over to where Christian McCaffrey is, and he's going to say, okay, this guy's here. I don't like that. So I don't like the 3. And then he's going to move, boom, turns, takes a hitch up into the pocket, and he's going to look out here. Okay, that's taken away. So 4 is taken away. Now where he's going to go? To 5, because the over's taken. So that's where the void is opened. And he gets the ball out as Myles Garrett is hitting him.
That was so scary on TV because we could all see Myles Garrett coming around the corner. We're like, oh, God. And he stepped up and got rid of it.
So just in real time, watch how quickly he goes through these progressions. This is where it's special. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you're going to see it from the end zone. And that's a big play because it avoids a sack. Yes. It's a 4-yard gain. It's a positive play. Avoids a sack because you got Myles Garrett screaming off the edge. You're going to see his eyes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And gets it out with Myles Garrett there. And we run for a first down the next play.
It's almost like you could call it more than a 4-yard gain because you got to take the sack yardage that he would have lost and add it to the play as well.
Yeah, and it's a drive extender. It's one that keeps the Browns offense off the field. It helps you in the field position game, like all those things. That was one of those plays I watched and I was like, okay, Brock's in his bat, and it was in his game in this game. Like he was there, he was on it. It was there. It was great to see. And then this was, I think, my second favorite play. So this is a 3rd down. It's after the turnover on downs by the Browns. We had whiffed on a huge opportunity for an explosive on a little shovel pass to Christian McCaffrey. Like literally Carson Schwarzenegger was the only guy that could stop Christian McCaffrey from getting in the end zone. We had both Trent Williams and Jake Brendel out there, and Trent threw Schwarzenegger into McCaffrey, and he got the tackle. And Trent was so frustrated after the play. So you're on 3rd down. You got to get a first down. Okay, so what we're going to do is we motion Robinson across. You're going to see these guys bump over a little bit. That tells you they're in zone. So the Browns we got a single safety. This is cover 3 zone. So you got 3 deep and 4 underneath. Okay, we're going to get 2, 3, 4 underneath. This is how we look it out. Oops. Disregard that. And so we're going to run Ricky Pearsall on a clearing route. And this is a variation of what's called Y sail. So you're going to take George Kittle, and normally he would run a tree route here, which is a 10-yard out route. What he's going to do is he's going to stem really far inside. He's going to get inside of Schlesinger, and then he's going to run a 10-yard out route. So you're going to get him on a 10-yard out route, and then you're going to take Brian Robinson. So Christian McCaffrey just went out. He tweaked his ankle on that shovel pass. So he's on the sideline. We're going to take Brian Robinson and release him out into the flat. So the idea is you're trying to put this curl flat player in a vertical stretch. That's what you're trying to do. You clear out the deep third. You isolate the curl flat guy. Okay. So as this play works out, you're going to see they are in that cover 3 zone. Here comes Kittle inside. And what Purdy's reading is he's watching this guy and he says, okay, this guy's got a lot of depth. I need to get to the 10 for a first down. So I need to move that guy. We don't have Christian McCaffrey in here, so he's not just driving on this. So you're going to see Brock in here give a little bit of his shoulders and eyes. There it is. Bam. He's going to look way over here to Robinson, and you're going to see both these guys then attack Robinson's route. That's going to open up Kittle behind him. And so gives him a little shoulders, and then resets, layers the throw in there with Mason Graham coming right in his face. This is superb A++ eye manipulation. And what's fun to watch about Brock is that he does this with pressure coming right in his face. He will still do these little look-offs and then dump the ball in behind it. So we're going to see it from the end zone. You see, he sees the guys there. There's a little bit of his shoulders and eyes, and here those guys go. They're following his eyes, and George Kittle gets lost behind him. And there it is with the guy diving at him, gets hit as he throws. First down on third down that sets up the touchdown. A+ play.
4-point play. It's the difference between a touchdown and a field goal. And it's massive, especially when you're playing teams, with bad offenses like the 49ers were playing in this game. Getting those 4 extra points, you put them in such a deeper hole. And they came through consistently in this game in the red zone. They've actually been really, really good in the red zone for a long stretch of this season, which is not always the case with Kyle. So kudos all around.
Yeah, and this is where, it's been talked about pretty much since Brock came in. Brock has an elite processor. Like that part hasn't gone away. And so we've seen some of the interceptions. That's him kind of forcing there's a tight window in there and he's going to try and take it. But the processing is still there. It's not that he's not seeing the field well. It's not that he's still not operating things, looking guys off, doing a lot of the little things from a processor standpoint. This is all those traits that we've said for years. Brock is an elite processor. And these are things that just aren't real common at any level of playing quarterback. So here we're gonna get a touchdown to Juwan Jennings. We're gonna first motion Ricky Pearsall in, and we're gonna create leverage then because they're gonna pass these routes off. So you've immediately created far inside leverage for Juwan Jennings. Love the motion here by Kyle to create that. We're gonna run what's called a short dagger. So you're gonna get George Kittle on a curl through. So he's gonna go vertical till he passes the first underneath defender, and then he's gonna cut across the field towards the flag back way out here. That's his aiming point. That's to clear it out. You're trying to draw this deep guy over, and then you're going to run Juwan Jennings on a short dover. So he's going to run a little in route here. And so Brock, again, he's going to see this. He needs to look off Schlesinger to get him out of the throwing lane. Sees it. He knows pre-snap. So he's right here staring right at him. So that's why he's not moving at all. And then he's gonna open this up into this window. High anticipation throw here. Here he is in his windup. The ball is going to come in right here. Okay, again, big time anticipation throw because he's got to beat this window before Schlesinger can get over and get underneath it. He's got to get there before this guy can make a break on it. And the safety, they're trying to hand these off. There's an issue here. The safety's trying to pick up George Kittle, and they're trying to hand this off to Delpit to become the middle help player. That's what's going on in the secondary, but they don't have time to recover. I mean, it's because the ball is out on time that window is open. Really high level stuff there.
You love to see it. That's what we need from Brock. We don't need hero ball Superman all the time. There are times in a game when that's necessary, but we just need this sort of basic execution. And he said on KMBR this week that like this game taught him a lesson. And I really hope that is true, because if he plays like this, we're going to be yeah, there's the Bosa celebration. I love it. If he plays like that, then the sky's the limit for this offense.
100%. When Brock is on it and he's processing the way it is, we're able to keep the offense on schedule. We're not taking the big negative plays. We're not putting the defense in a tough position. The 49ers are a team that you can't count out against anybody. They're not necessarily a team I'm going to sit in there and say against any team in the league, they're going to win by 2 scores. They're in a tier among themselves. It's not necessarily that, not with the losses that they've taken on defense, not with Bosa out, not with Fred out, not with Michael out, not with Ayuk somewhere off in Cabo, apparently. But with this team, you can't count them out versus any team when he plays like that.
It's beautiful. It's encouraging. And hopefully it's something that is repeatable. We're going to get to the defensive side of the ball in a minute, because we have a lot to break down there as well. But first, just a quick word from Sleeper. You know we love Sleeper on this show. We use it to make all of our picks, which we usually give out on Fridays. And it's pretty simple. All you got to do is pick higher or lower on a bunch of different stats, touchdowns, receiving yards, fantasy points, stuff like that. And you could win up to $1,000 payout on Sleeper, or 1,000 times your money, I should say, on Sleeper, if you get your picks right. And you can check out the app. You can see it on the screen right there. They have everything. Football, if you want to do football, but they also have NBA, college football. You could see all the sports right there on the top of the screen. Obviously, I like to live in an NFL world. We've got football tonight. Consequential football for the 49ers between the Cowboys and the Lions. And there you go. You can see the picks on your screen. Just choose higher or lower on a bunch of different categories. They have a couple of super easy bets just to get you to play. Javonte Williams rushing yards is interesting. I'll personally be watching Jameson Williams because he may or may not be on my fantasy team. So I'll take him to have a touchdown tonight. Why not? If I can't be selfish with my picks, then I'm not going to make any, damn it. But if you want to go and sign up, just check it out. You'll get a free $20 entry. And if you want to deposit money and have some fun, you'll get up to a $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Currently operational in over 25 states. Check out Sleeper today. You can also see they have the different fantasy up there as well. And they have news. You can see the news right there about Darius Slay, who apparently might not play football anymore. That's the thing that Buffalo is going to have to deal with now. So everything is there on the Sleeper app for you. I highly recommend you go and check it out. All right, Johnny, let's get back to more film breakdown. We did the offense. That's cool. We all love Brock Purdy. Great. What I was impressed by is that seemingly, even though they continue to lose people every week, this defense is not one that is going to get pushed around at crucial points in the game.
No, they're not. And what was really fun to see were some of the young guys, the guys that have been role players in the past, stepping up and making big plays. Kalia Davis is having a great season. He's quietly having a really, really great season. I think he's going to be a priority re-signing for the 49ers. He's reminding you of DJ Jones. That is really what he's reminding me of, and the kind of production they're getting out of him. CJ Weston here is really coming along. He's getting more and more snaps during the last few weeks as he's coming off that broken thumb, was it, or broken hand, and he's able to use his hands more. So we're seeing that. Alfred Collins is really continuing to get his feet underneath him. Here, the Browns, this is 4th down. They're going to bring in a big old nasty, big giant offensive lineman as an extra tackle. I mean, this dude Njoku is a big tight end. And watch as he motions over how small he makes Njoku look.
That is
this is a large man. Okay, this is the right tackle, and the extra offensive lineman makes him look very small. This dude's got to be like 350. I mean, he's a big dude. So they're going to come through this right side. So First, this is such a great job by everybody along the line. Let's watch Kalia Davis. This is one of the greatest forced whiffs of a block you will see of the right tackle. They're going to snap this ball, and he makes the guy go airborne straight into the ground. He's going to just say bye-bye, and he goes and meets this big hoss who's trying to meet him in the hole, and they stuff this side. So here's that right tackle laying on the ground, wondering what he's going to do in the next phase of life. And he takes on the big lead blocker that's coming in. Oh, that's fantastic. I love seeing stuff like that. Okay, now you're going to see CJ West. So they're trying to pinch down on him. So the right guard, the center, and the left guard are all going to pinch down on CJ West right in the middle. And he holds up at the point as well as you can expect any player to hold up versus a triple team coming down on him. And so he holds up the point, barely gets moved. They don't get just to be able to slam in here. Great job by CJ West. Okay, let's go to, this is Jordan Elliott. He's going to read these guys pinch down, and he's going to say, okay, I'm going to fly in here and get in on this tackle with his 300 pounds. So he reads it, keeps his balance, and goes and gets in on the tackle. Love seeing that. Okay, now you get Malik Mustafa, safety, playing as a linebacker. He's going to read this pinch block, and he's going to fly in here without hesitation and go meet the running back in the hole, playing this like Ray Lewis back in the day. No yards after contact. That is phenomenal work across the board on a crucial down.
Jordan Elliott's quietly, I feel like, having a very nice year as well. Big fan of his. Malik Mustafa, I've heard people say that they get the feeling he's kind of starting to look like he was looking last year. You know, he took him a few weeks to recover from the ACL stuff, and now he's starting to really play faster and really bring it. And man, he is a sledgehammer.
Oh, 100%. And I mean, let's give a little shout out to Kevin Stefanski here for running with the old running back in a 3-point stance. We haven't seen that in like 20 years. Coming in with this is like 1985 Bears stuff. Coming in with the extra lineman in at fullback, running back in a 3-point stance to fire out like a sprinter stance and to meet that guy in the hole and stuff that for a turnover on downs. That's awesome. That's like classic football stuff right there. That gets you, if you love classic football, that should get you excited.
Anytime you can get a running back in a 3-point stance, I support it.
That's 100%. It's a lost art. Okay. So now this was I think a very crucial play in the game because I think we were all questioning Kyle Shanahan here. He chooses to accept a 5-yard penalty.
Yes.
What would have been 4th and 7. They're kicking a field goal from like the 32-yard line, 29 in the elements. Okay. Do you really give them another opportunity to try and get more yards? I mean, you got to hold them to 8 yards or less. And so the defense makes Kyle Shanahan look smart on this. So what are the Browns going to do? This is a decent design. So they're going to bring a guy in motion inside. We're in cover 4. We're a heavy quarters team. They're going to take a guy. They're going to run him down the seam and they're trying to run these safeties off. So they're going to say, okay, we want you safeties. We're going to split the safeties here so that both of them have to account for the deep route. And then what are they going to do? They're going to run this guy inside, and they're going to run a little spacing concept in here. So they're going to hook this up and run out to the flat. The idea is you're trying to grab the attention of both underneath guys now so that you've got to draw them up, and you're opening up a lane right through here that then they're going to take Jerry Jeudy, their best receiver, and they're going to run him on a high crossing route. So that if this works out the way you want, you get Jerry Jeudy on a crossing route on Malik Mustafa. That's not a great matchup against almost any safety in the league. Jerry Jeudy's a great receiver. Or I should say a good receiver, very good receiver. I really liked him at Alabama. But this is a great job by the defensive line, and Malik does a good enough job for just long enough. So first thing he does is he's going to square up. He says, okay, I see Judy's coming at me. So he doesn't just bail out and give I said Deshaun Watson, give Shadur Sanders an easy read here. So he keeps squared up. I love that. Keeps his hips square. He's going to read the route. then he's got to recover. That's where Shedeur wants to go, okay? But the pressure gets there before this can really break open. So Malik played it good enough for just long enough, because that's where they want to hit. This is the first down marker. They want to hit Judy on this. And so we're going to see it from the end zone. This is a really, really nice design. I don't know if this was Chris Kasurek or Robert Saleh or somebody else. I mean, it's going to be one of those two guys that comes up with this design. This is a really nice design. Both, whoever it was, still credit to Saleh. So we run a lot of these twists and stunts, right? So we do a lot of these things. So the Browns are expecting that. What we're going to do is we're going to take this Kalia Davis, and we're going to have him come across and attack the outside shoulder of the center. We're going to take Keon White, and we're going to have him come in and attack the inside shoulder of Joel Bitonio, 6-time Pro Bowl guard right here. What we're trying to do is make these guys work and say, okay, they're running a twist up front. So we want the center to pick up Kalia, and we want Joel Bitonio to pick up Keon White. That's what we want, because, and I'll explain that in a second here. You'll see it as it plays out. We want Bitonio to square up to Keon White. And you see this. Here we go. So they're going to read it out. Okay, so Bitonio sees it. He turns and squares up to Keon White, right? So that we can bring this stunt. The reason you're doing that is you're trying to get him to turn his head and turn his side so that Clelin Ferrell can come in and blast his side. You're trying to get him to give up his side. You really are. I mean, and so Keon White's going to feign like he's coming at him. He's going to wait for Clelin Ferrell to come blast his side, and then he's going to come around, and you put the guard or the tackle in a 2-on-1. So this gives your guys, you aren't asking your guys to win physically. You're giving your guys, this is almost like really good run game design where you give guys good blocking angles. You're giving really good defensive line angles to win their matchups. So he's able to come in and you see it, bam, there's the shot on Bitonio. So now Keon White can come to the outside. This is going to blast Bitonio out, and Clelin Ferrell is going to be able to come up inside. So now you've got this where Shedeur is facing this as he's trying to read out that play. All because you made this guy turn his shoulders. Really, really good design. Like, that's what I love in this, is that's not necessarily these guys just winning. This is really high quality design from the coaching staff. Love that.
When we talk about, well, you lose Warner, you lose Bosa, you lose Michael, you lose these big name players, you have to make up for it with scheme. This is what we're talking about. This is a schemed pressure from, like you said, either Saleh or Kasurek, whoever it was, but it's not coming from guys winning physically, winning their one-on-one matchups. It's from them working together to create openings for teammates.
And this is the kind of stuff that you didn't see from the 49ers defense last year. You didn't see this kind of creativity along the front. So, I mean, when people say, what is the difference between last year and this year, especially with the guys we've lost, the difference is you were seeing creativity in some of your third down pass rush packages. That is just, it's clearly so much better. Here, this is a third down. It's third and short. The Browns will go on to turn the ball over on a fourth down, but it's not set up if it's not for this third down stop. So they're going to try and come with a wide zone here. We run this play all the time. We should be very familiar with what it looks like. And so first thing you got to do is you got to set a hard edge. Clelin Ferrell's been such a great pickup. I mean, dude's got length. He can still play. It makes you wonder, like, why was he out there as a free agent? The guy can still play. So he's going to set a hard edge on that. So this run is not going outside of him. That's where they're reading this. They read this outside in. So when you get a hard edge set to keep this from being a first down, what you got to do is your inside defensive tackles. This is CJ West and this is Alfred Collins. Alfred Collins is to our side. He's right here. Then CJ West is right here. So these two guys have got to maintain the line of scrimmage while moving laterally. That's not an easy thing to do. You've got to move to not be moved back while continuing to move sideways. They had one play in this game. It was the biggest run that the Browns had all day, where CJ West got a little sloppy with his footwork and he got driven like 15 yards off the ball. It was really bad. But the fact that you come back in on this play and you don't let that happen on the exact same run, awesome to see. Look at these guys hold the point of attack as they're moving laterally. They're going to hold it up so the running back has nowhere to go. That is a moving wall that is right there. There's no crease, and CJ West is the one who gets in and makes the tackle. But this is set up, and we're going to see it from the end zone by these guys all holding this point of attack while on the move. So you're going to see it. Alfred Collins, great pad level. Love to see it. CJ West is going to work once the combo moves off him. He's going to work across to the play side. He's going to work across and maintain his gap. I love it. On the move, you got Keon White, long arming the outside tackle, maintaining his gap. You've got this gap. Nowhere for the running back to go, and makes the tackle for a stop on 3rd and short. Love it. Deep in their territory. So then what do? They come back and they say, okay, we're just gonna try and bring a tight end in here and run a sneak. He wouldn't have got it anyways. The guy stuffed it anyways.
Yeah, that's what I said. I was like, it doesn't matter that he fumbled because it was blocked up. And then Luke Gifford recovers the fumble, which also doesn't matter because, again, it's 4th down. But when you talk about the run blocking stuff, you know, Tennessee obviously coming after the bye, but then you got Indy and Chicago. And what do those two teams do better than maybe anybody the 49ers have played is run the damn ball. You got Indianapolis is running the hell out of it. The Bears can't complete a pass, but God, can they run the ball? So this is the stuff they are going to have to do if they're going to have success against those teams.
100%. I mean, they're going to have to really put their big boy pads on and stay disciplined. The one thing that Ben Johnson is better at than almost anybody in the league right now is the way he can manufacture and stress gap assignments. He is so good at getting guys just to move one step out of their gap, and then boom, they hit that crease. And he's got some rockets that are flying out of there to go take them and exploit those run lanes. Ben Johnson's doing a great job over there. Here, you're going to see this should be a safety.
Oh, this play.
This play was so frustrating. But this happens because of a really good stunt over here, okay? So they bring a tight end in here. They're trying to help Chip. You know, people are saying Bryce Huff is the production has been there. I'm watching him getting chipped all the time. I mean, dude's getting chipped so often on these because he's the primary pass rushing threat. Like he's the speed rusher. So they're bringing guys there. So what do? You move them over the center. I love it. You hide them. You make it so they can't do it. And you're going to run both these guys slanting inside, and then you're going to run Bryce Huff on a little stunt out here. Again, great scheme to give your players advantageous positions, putting them in a position to succeed. And you can see the right tackles blocking down on Cleveland Farrell. You get this, and you're going to get Bryce Huff coming right through. The only guy between him and the quarterback is the running back, and he gets him for just a second, and he kind of ping pongs off there. He would have got him if that running back didn't help him get there in the right tackle. You know, that gave the right tackle just enough to pick him up. He would have got Shedeur. Shedur's panicking now. You got a face mask over here on Keon White, dirty pocket. There is no receiver close.
How is that not grounded? The whole 49ers sideline was signaling intentional grounding at one point.
And it's not like he's outside the tackle box. I mean, the tackle box was here. So, I mean, he's getting out there. That is not outside the tackle box. No receiver close. That should have been a safety. 2 points taken off the board.
I was so mad because I was like, number one, we would have gotten the ball back, but we also would have had 2 more points on the board. I was like, what's got to happen here? It should have been grounding in the end zone. Then where was the face mask if it wasn't in the end zone?
Well, that's the thing. A face mask penalty is a personal foul penalty. It's not a spot
penalty. You're literally holding on to the face mask.
It is. Yeah.
That's a loophole in the rule.
It's a loophole. I will agree. So here comes a 4th down, and everybody's been dogging Shedeur for taking a sack here. I will say he didn't have a lot of good options. I'll give him that.
4th and 16?
So this is 4th and 16.
Yeah.
Okay, they got to get off the field, but this is also where he doesn't have a lot of good options because Robert Saleh absolutely trapped Stefanski on this. I love this. So we had been in cover 4 on the previous 3rd and long, right? That I showed earlier that we ended up getting the sack on. Okay, so what is Stefanski expecting? He's expecting cover 4. That's what we like to do. So what are they going to do? They're going to take this guy, and they're going to run him on, it's called a far pylon route. He's going to run towards the far pylon. And he's meant to grab both of these safeties and pull them out deep. Okay, so you're going to clear out the middle safeties, and then you're going to take Jerry Jeudy, your guy, and you're going to run him on a deep in route. So that's where you're trying to get to. You're going to run a little eye candy up in front to try and hold those linebackers, but you want to attack the middle section of the field. That's where they're trying to go, clear out the safeties, attack the middle. So good design if it's cover 4. Problem is, it's not cover 4. So we're dropping, it's called cover 3 buzz. So you're going to have Jair Brown, instead of dropping in a deep quarters, he's dropping into a hook zone. So, and his job is really kind of cross key to the number 3 on the backside. But if there's no vertical threat from there, he's got to sit in his zone and he's got to be alert to anything coming from the weak side. So you have Malik Mustafa bailing out in a deep third, not a quarter safety. And so as this play works out, you're seeing Shedeur is trying to read this route for Jerry Jeudy. And who's standing right there covering that spot? Jair Brown. Because this is a perfectly timed defensive call to have it there. To not be in cover 4. They're trying to beat you with cover 4. You show cover 4, you hit him with cover 3 buzz, and Shedeur doesn't really have anywhere to go with the ball. This guy's running a clearing route. He's not even looking for the ball. This guy, he ain't anywhere to go. They want to hit this, but it's not there. And so Shedeur is having a hard time. I thought it was going to be there. It's not there. What do I do now? Oh, and then bang, you get the sack on 4th down, another turnover.
Isn't it great when you've got a defensive coordinator that actually schemes stuff up? Instead of, it felt like last year, Nick Sorensen was like, all right, guys, just win your one-on-ones. We're going to rush 4. We're not going to blitz anybody. Win your one-on-ones along the defensive line and hope we get there. And it was just like, it never worked. It always seemed like the other team knew exactly what was coming because most of the time they did. And now they don't. And I remember you talking about this when Saleh was hired. We did a whole breakdown video of like, hey, get ready. Like, this is what we can expect. And it has played out exactly that way. Who knows if Robert Saleh is going to be here next year? I don't know if you noticed this, Johnny. Did you see Kyle and Jim Schwartz had quite the little chat after the game, and Kyle and Stefanski, as a matter of fact. Wonder if, there's a little regime change in Cleveland, if some of those coaches might find their way to the Bay.
100%. And I mean, look, Jim Schwartz makes a lot of sense. Kasurik coached under him. That's who he learned the wide 9 from, was Jim Schwartz. Jim Schwartz, if there's any coordinator that Kyle probably respects more than anybody else, it's Jim Schwartz, because Jim Schwartz has historically had Kyle's number. And so he knows exactly how good this guy is. And he was asked about it, right? And he was like, yeah. And Jim kind of lets me know about it too. Like he makes sure that I know that he's got my number on a lot of things. I mean, I would not be opposed to that at all.
And I think too, I don't know how much this matters to you, but for certain people it matters. If you think that a fiery personality is what's needed for this defense at D coordinator, well, guess what? Jim Schwartz is plenty fire. That's the guy that was going to fight Jim Harbaugh after the game.
Yeah.
They were playing the Lions. So like, he's got some of that too. So it would be very interesting if that all were to happen. There's a lot of moving pieces there. A lot of things would have to happen for that to take place, but I don't hate it. And I think Kyle, he's smart. He knows what's up. He can read the writing on the wall too. I'm sure that was, put out there in some way, shape, form, or fashion.
Yeah, I was like, hey, good luck on your future endeavors. They could, the West Coast is nice most of the year.
Right. I'll be looking real forward to see where you wind up. BTL with Tony, YouTube channel member, says, would you rather Raheem Morris or Jim Schwartz? Kyle loves Raheem Morris, loves him. They go all the way back to when Kyle was just getting into the NFL with Tampa Bay and Gruden and all that. He loves him. So if Raheem Morris became available, that is definitely something that Kyle would consider big time.
Yeah, I think he would think long and hard about it. Now, Raheem Morris has traditionally been more of a 3-4 guy, and they run a system that is a bit different than what we run. It's not from the Seattle tree. It is definitely more of the kind of Nick Saban, Fangio kind of blend of a tree. Is his defense, where they're in there. It's closer to Brandon Staley, Chris Shula, like their kind of defenses. Like all of those are all from the same kind of family. And so it would be a system departure. So I don't know how much that would play into it. I know Kyle loves Raheem Morris. I think if it came down to Jim Schwartz or Raheem Morris, Kyle would probably choose Jim Schwartz just from a scheme continuity standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
And I think either one of them would be really good defensive coordinators, but it would be easier to transition for Jim Schwartz. Now, they also have Gus Bradley in-house. We do sometimes forget Gus Bradley has had a lot of defensive success as a coordinator. That he's not a bad defensive coach by any stretch of the imagination, and he's been in the building. So I think they have some good options that will be there as a succession plan if Saleh moves on. I'm hoping he does not want to that the opportunities that are out there this year are not going to be as enticing for him. If I was him, I would stay away from New York City, period. That's just like, don't go back there and try and improve yourself in Woody Johnson's backyard. Like, the Giants are a dumpster fire. You don't want to be involved with that. Like, yes, they got some defensive pieces, but man, you don't need to get involved with Joe Schoen.
And maybe we can get one more year out of Saleh. And if he does stay another year, then we get comp picks for him also, like,
yes,
because of the Rooney rules. So he has to stay multiple years for that, but you can get comp picks for the same coach leaving. That's okay. They just have to stay multiple years. So again, long way to go, but it's nice to see the 49ers have some options. And again, hopefully they don't need them, but if they do, they are there. That's going to do it for this edition of the show. If you want more film breakdowns, please check out Johnny's channel on YouTube, the Johnny Dale Football Academy. Subscribe. I promise you, it's got every friggin' breakdown you could possibly want to check out on there. It is phenomenal work. We thank you, as always, Johnny, for hopping on this channel. We really do appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday, everybody. Enjoy the bye week. Go outside. Maybe, well, it's pretty cold over here, but if you're in warmer places, go outside, and we'll talk to you next week.